listening to Moments Podcast with me, Shuang Cai. In this show, I am going to talk to artists, academics, industry practitioners, and entrepreneurs from a variety of backgrounds, each of whom is committed to imagining a better tomorrow and working to make it a reality. Some of their experiences are experimental, some are highly practical and ambitious. Most importantly, each dialogue is imaginative, because we want to engage in dialogue with people from all over the world who are curious about life, to enjoy a moment together, to seize the moment, to seize eternity. Join me and these amazing people and their experienced life as it meant to be lived. Hello everyone, welcome to Moments Podcast. Today we have a new guest. Her full name is Kaisa Astikainen.
Astikainen, yes, very good.
Yes, and she is from Finland. At the moment, he's doing visiting scholar at the University of Warwick. That's where we met each other and we became very good friends. Apart from doing PhD, she is a documentary film producer, filmmaker in her home country, and she has been in film industry for ages. Let's welcome Kaisa. And Kaika, your nickname, right?
Yes, Kaika is my nickname. Thank you, Shuang, for having me.
Yeah, and I'm very curious about the lifestyle in your home country, Finland, because several years ago I've been to Norway, which is your neighbor country, right? I wonder, this country lifestyle is quite similar or, different?
Yeah, I think you could say that it's a similar lifestyle. I mean, both Finland and Norway are obviously Nordic countries. Sweden is in between, but we also share a little bit like a direct border with Norway in Lapland in the very north. Both of the countries are these, you could say, like Nordic welfare states with very much nature. I mean, forests. Norway has the fjords and we have the lakes. I am from the Lake District from Finland.
Is that the reason that Finland is not one of the happiest country in the whole world?
We were named the happiest country in the world like 8 years in a row now. I don't really know where does it come from, but maybe the nature could have something to do with it.
And the whole country is so developed in a sense, right? So the government can provide citizens a very high quality of care system, education system, blah, blah, blah.
Well, yes. I mean, that's kind of what the welfare state means. So we have this sort of structure in society that we pay sort of high taxes, but then again, the government is given a lot of things for its population, education, healthcare, etc.
You don't need to pay for, tuition fee, whether you go for a primary school or a university. Right.
No.
That's actually really nice.
It is a good system, I agree. Although at the moment the system is, I would say, under attack almost, because there are big pressure to cut down the welfare state and to make it more capitalist and make it more based on that you only get services by paying. So let's see what happens in the future. But I myself, I feel like I have received a lot from my country, and then obviously I would hope to give it back in some way or the other.
The most important thing for our podcast today is talk about your industry practice and your research, right? So as we all know that, as I mentioned before, you studied film in Finland and you have been working in the Finnish film industry for ages.
Yes, almost.
How long? Like 30,
Oh God.
40 years?
No. Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years. That's still a long time, right? I really wondered because I am from China and I have no idea on the other side of the world what kind of film career in Finland.
Well, it's a very broad question, of course, but mainly it's a small industry because we are a very small country. But then again, we are a part of the EU and we are very networked within the European film scheme. So we do a lot of co-productions. That's the way we can fund our films, by making European collaboration. And this is done in both fiction film and in documentary film. I used to work mainly in fiction, so fiction films and series for many, many years. And then I started to do a little bit documentary as well. And nowadays I'm doing mostly documentary. But it's both of these are done in a European level. So there is usually always some kind of European money involved. And then that can result to a situation that, for example, for a Finnish feature film, like some part of the shoot could take place, let's say, in Germany. And then some part of the post-production would take place in Sweden or in Belgium. And the composer would come from Spain or whatever. So these kinds of collaborations are very normal.
Yeah.
And then we collaborate a lot with the Baltic countries at the moment. So there are very, very many productions that are being shot in Estonia or Latvia or Lithuania at the moment. We don't just collaborate with European or EU countries, we collaborate with anyone. Like this year, there was a Oscar-nominated short documentary, which was a Japanese project, but they had Finnish money involved. So the Finnish producer was actually Oscar-nominated.
Nice.
And there might have been some other countries as well, but I'm not sure which countries were they. But like these collaborations are very normal, they take place.
Because you mentioned that Finland has a very long winter, right?
Yes.
How can people, manage their schedule? Do people or do film people shoot a lot of time during winter time, or they just we just film during spring and the summertime? Can you share a little about this?
That's actually a very good question. You are right. Most of the productions are being shot in the summer, I would say, because the summers are very long and there is daylight almost 24-hour. Like in the winter, it gets very, very dark and the day is very, very short. But then in the summer, it's the other way around. So
I see, yeah.
So we have a lot of daylight in the summer.
And film people just want to make the best of the time,
Well,
right?
of course, film people are the professionals in utilizing whatever situation they have.
Which means they never rest during summertime?
Oh, no. We have strict laws of how to do it. So you cannot,
That's quite
everything is done by law.
Yeah.
And that's good because it's how we keep our people going. They need their rest also in the summertime. But there are these, obviously, like some shows that take place in the winter. Now there has been many shows that were shot in the winter in Lapland in quite harsh circumstances. You could have -20 or even -30 degrees outside. And that's a very challenging circumstance.
How can people manage that? I mean...
Well, I would say Finnish film professionals are probably the best in the world to survive in those Arctic circumstances.
They're used to it, right?
They are kind of used to it. I mean, we know how to handle the cold, what to do, how to do it. But I mean, it's an art of its own. I haven't done it myself, but I've seen pictures where they were shooting I guess it was a film about Father Christmas. And
there is a Christmas village in Finland,
yes,
right?
yes,
Nice,
because
yes.
Santa Claus lives in Finland, obviously.
Yeah.
So they were shooting this film, and I saw pictures of the film crew, and everybody was dressed from the, like, you could only see their eyes, and otherwise they were just covered in layers and layers and layers of clothes. And then everybody had a name tag in their chest, because when everybody is clothed like that, you cannot know who is the director and who is what. So everybody had a name tag.
But for the actors, how can they manage? Because they have to take off the layers of clothes, and they have to wear the costumes, right?
Yeah, you really
under the harsh temperature.
Yeah.
How can they manage that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you need very good scheduling so that you won't keep the people in the cold more than what they can bear.
Like 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Ooh.
And then, like, all the breaks, you have to give them a warm space. And then also, I think the Finnish costume designers are very brilliant, because they can hide all kinds of warming stuff into their clothes. So yeah, I think it's a combination of many things, but also I think the Finnish actors are quite tough.
So I am curious about what kind of films are popular in Finland at the moment. I mean, during past 10 or 20 years or recently, right? Feminism, environmentalism?
Again, very interesting question. I would say that the variety of films is wide, like something for everyone. And also series, like we are producing a lot of series at the moment, as I think every country is
TV
at the moment. So you could find Finnish productions, for example, in Netflix at the moment. We have had more than one successful series from Winter Lapland. Usually they are some kind of police criminal stories. I think it's easy to mix up, like Nordic.
Yeah.
They have some like common elements. I mean, if you would go to Netflix and would like to find something Finnish to watch, there is, for example, this show called Border Town. Then there is Dead Wind, which is which is a police series. And now we have our first Netflix feature film, which just came out, which is called Little Siberia, and it's directed by Dome Karukoski, who has also done some work in the UK. Like he directed the film Tolkien, about the famous writer. That was in 2019, I believe. Yeah, I mean, there is a variety. And
of different types, right?
Yeah,
but like
sure.
you mentioned, there's a really harsh environment in Finland, especially in winter time. A group of film production team, they're going to film whatever the type is, right? They have to do a lot of sustainability, because the environment is so vulnerable, right? You have to protect it, politely, friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now, a subtle bridge to my PhD topic.
Okay,
yes.
Related to your research, right?
Yes, and my work in the industry. So I used to be a production worker, but then I started to get interested about sustainability issues.
What kind of stuff made you focus on or concentrate on this specific topic?
It was mainly that when I was in film school, and then when I started to do my first internships and my first jobs in the industry, I kind of discovered that some of the practical things that I did at home, for example, like recycling at home, we have recycled in Finland since forever. And then I went to my first film shoots and I was like, why are we not recycling here? And I started to look at the working environment, like, why are we acting in a different way at work than at home? Like, what's the difference here? Why are we not doing it? 2012, I went to Germany to do my Erasmus exchange as a part of my MA program. And in a film school, I was in HFF Potsdam, the film school. And there it was the first time that I ever heard the term like sustainable filmmaking. I had never heard about it before. It didn't exist in Finland. And I was so mesmerized by it. Like it was just like one day lecture. Some visiting producer came and he was telling about his work. Like he had been the trailblazer in Germany doing this so-called green production. And I was completely obsessed immediately. Like I just felt like, okay, this is something that I'm very interested in. I want to know more. And then I went back to Finland and I wrote my MA dissertation about it. And then I gradually started to find jobs and get jobs that were about this topic. So nowadays I still work in the film industry, but not so much in productions. I mostly work with sustainability. So I do like training or education, consulting. I have been working as a sort of eco-coordinator in a few projects. It has been a very interesting career turn for me. And now it's the topic of my PhD as well.
Nice. So based on what you have done and experienced, right? What kind of the biggest problem with sustainability that you mentioned in the film industry at the moment?
What are the biggest problems with sustainability?
Yeah.
Well, there are loads of problems.
One or two of the biggest.
Yeah. I mean, our industry, it's a global industry and it's a huge industry.
Yeah.
If we look at it at a global level, we are producing so much stuff all the time. So basically what it means that we are producing content, it means that it's still very practical work. So all the sets that you see, all the actors that you see on screen, everything you see has been built. So it means that the industry uses a lot of energy. There is a lot of transportation because we're moving around people and stuff and from country to country. Yeah. There are a lot of accommodations. The film crews must eat. There are a lot of materials used. So there is a lot of waste that is being created. And then there is this whole huge digital footprint because more and more we are we are using digital ways to...
Like AI?
Well, yes, AI is a part of it. Yes. We might use a virtual studio. We're doing virtual effects. All the post-production is digital nowadays. Yeah. Like all of these digital processes, they have a footprint. So they actually create emissions. Yeah. But the thing is that these emissions that film productions are generated, we don't see them. So it's so easy not to care about those. And for a normal person who is just watching a film on a screening platform or even in a cinema, you don't think about it because you cannot see it. You don't know. Yeah. So film is something that might seem very
fancy.
Yes, and intangible. Like it's something that just exists there in the air, and it's not like a concrete thing that you could hold in your hand, but actually it's very concrete. The production process of films, it's very concrete. It generates a lot of emissions. I'm not saying that we should stop all film production. Although I think that we could produce a little less. I think the scale of production that we have at the moment is unsustainable in itself. We are not gonna stop traveling. We are not gonna stop eating, or we are not going to stop sleeping. Staying in hotels. But I guess it has to do with the fact that our societies are not yet sustainable. Like inherently, the processes that we have, they are not sustainable. If I want to fly, that is not sustainable at the moment, like anywhere ever. Which is, by the way, the reason I haven't flown a plane in 8 years. I'm on flight strike since 2018 because of sustainability reasons.
Okay.
I just decided that I'm gonna do this, my little activist act, and I'm gonna try to live without flying, and so far so good.
And your actions matters, right?
Well, yeah. So I think when film productions try to be sustainable, it means that they are trying to push the society and push other industries to be sustainable as well. Because, for example, if I'm a huge film production and I need to rent cars, I have to rent them. So I would try to find car rental business that has most sustainable cars that I could rent for my project.
Which means they are probably using the green energy.
Electric cars and green energy. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be good for both of our business.
Yeah.
Or I would try to find a catering business who can do good vegetarian or vegan food, because that's a good way to bring down the emissions.
Yeah, and which you have been keeping doing for years, right? Yeah. Nice. And you mentioned that you have made a twist from the fiction filmmaking to documentary filmmaking, right? And you told us that you have made a documentary about your own family, right? About your parents, about their whole life in their own farm, right?
Yes.
And which is called Heart of the Land, the film name, right?
Yes.
And it was in 2016.
Yes.
Oh my God, it was nearly 10 years ago.
Nearly 10 years ago, can you imagine?
Yeah. Can you tell us about what's the reason that made you to shoot the film at the beginning? And how was the feedback from your parents?
This film is the only film that I have directed. And I mean, it was the story of my own family. And I just saw that this would make such a beautiful little film. And you cannot ask another director to come in and do this. I mean, it's your family, so it's your responsibility. So yeah, I kind of stepped over my comfort zone, and I was lucky to have a very, very talented team with me, our small team, my cinematographer and my editor. I grew up in a small Finnish dairy farm in the middle of nowhere in the Finnish countryside.
Like here.
In Coventry. Finnish countryside is a bit different. When I say in the middle of nowhere, I mean literally in the middle of forests.
No one can find
you there. So that's where I spent my childhood. And I have one brother, and because farms, they go in a family, it's like a family business, so the next generation always takes over. Then came the time that our parents were approaching the age that they wanted to retire from the farm and from having cows.
Yeah.
And I was already in film school, and also my brother had university education, and we were both like, no, we don't want to continue. And also the society had changed into this direction that having like 10, 11, 12 cows didn't really make any sense anymore. So it was evident that the dairy industry in our farm had to end. So I was shooting a documentary about the last year of the life in our farm before our parents kind of then gave up and retired. So that's the film.
That sounds a little bit sad. When you
It's
when you
very
did
sad.
the filming process, do you feel, you know, the depression, sadness during the whole process?
Well, yes. I felt like I was to blame about the fact that the family tradition didn't go on.
Oh no.
But then again, like, you cannot choose your profession based on what your parents want
exactly.
and my parents were very okay. They were
It's
like,
not your
okay, you can
fault.
choose your own. So I decided that, okay, I cannot continue with the farm or with the cows, but I can make a film. And I can kind of restore this little piece of our family history. And then the film came out in 2016, and it actually did quite well. It went to film festivals all over the world. Me and my editor, Nina, yes, we got to travel with the film. So we went to
A lot of countries.
We went to a lot of places, and it was so much fun. We went to Canada, we went to the USA, we went to France. I mean, it was just great to see how our little country story had so much good feedback in different places.
What's the feedback from your parents?
Oh yeah, you asked it already, and I kind of didn't answer.
I really wonder.
It was a good feedback. I mean,
Did they cry?
well, the first time I showed them the ready film, it was at our home in the farm. I just had a DVD with me and I put it in and we watched the film. It's 30 minutes, so it's a short film, half an hour. And they watched it and they showed no emotion. And then the film ended and they said like, okay, and
That's
nothing.
it? That's
And
it?
this was like probably the most scary situations in my life. For a minute I was like, okay, they hate it. What am I going to do? The film is finished now. I cannot go back and change it anymore. But then I was there with them for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then the next day they were like, okay, so could we watch it again, please? And we did. And we watched it again. And then they started talking. And then they started like reflecting. And then like gradually, but I think they were in a shock.
Oh.
Like it was just a shock at first. And then they warmed up and afterwards it has been fine. I think they really appreciate the film and they have been very happy about its success. And when we had premieres in Finland in different cities, they always came there and they were so proud. And I was like, obviously then like always try to feature them in my speeches and say that, okay, the main characters of this film are in the audience and they are here. And
Nice.
yeah.
And to some point, they actually didn't feel the depression or the loss of the farm, but they regard the film itself as a heritage or as a memory of their life, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is always two sides in a story. So it's sort of a sad story. It's about the end of an era.
Yeah.
But then again, it was the beginning of a new era for them because they could retire and they could finally
Get some rest.
get some rest and have a more relaxed lifestyle, which they still have. They still live on the farm, but just no animals anymore. So it's much more relaxed.
And
so
it's
it was
much
like
more peaceful life, right?
Yeah, it's much more peaceful life. So I think they were just happy, and I think they like the outcome.
And I think that's probably the whole point of doing documentary, right?
Well, yes, documentary and film in general, it's a beautiful art form because it can preserve a certain moment in history, a certain moment in time.
And that time is true. It's not from a fiction. It's not from a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It's from the reality, right?
Yeah.
And you capture them.
Yeah. Things are happening in the family again, and actually now I'm a little bit thinking that I might do some kind of next chapter in this same story.
Ooh.
But let's see what's happening. I have started to shoot something, and let's see what comes out of it. But it will be a long process for sure.
How long do you, in your mind, that you think you are going to manage it from, 0 point, from an idea to an outcome?
Well, documentary films are such long processes. The last film where I was the producer, it was a feature documentary called Snowball Effect, directed by Pauliina Punkki. That film took 7 years to make.
7 years?
Yes. So it's a little bit like a marriage. Like you have to commit and you have to be sure that this is the project I want to live with and give my give all my time to for the next so and so many years. Maybe this is the reason I'm not married. I'm I'm married to my job. But I'm like this hybrid character. So my other project is my PhD. So I am kind of...
You have multiple roles to play at the moment.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm the PhD researcher, and then I'm the filmmaker, and then sometimes I'm also the person you can employ in a project to do some work which is related to sustainability, or sometimes it isn't, but I have like these 3 different roles that I'm changing.
But I think these 3 roles to some point all connected with each other, right?
Definitely they are. And I mean it's a crazy lifestyle. I think many would say that it's a crazy lifestyle, but for me it somehow fits.
And you are exploring the world.
Yeah, well, life is about taking risks, isn't it?
And that's why probably this year you came to this country.
Well, yeah, this was an adventure in itself. I mean, I came here because of my supervisor. My PhD supervisor, Pietari Kaapa, works here in Warwick. So he was the main reason why I wanted to come. Turned out to be a real adventure in many ways. I have done a lot of things that I didn't plan or I didn't look forward to, but they have really like surprised me, and it has been great.
What's your plan like for the near future? Let's say 1 year or 3 years. Any
what
idea?
A question. What's the plan? Well, obviously I'm hoping to proceed with my research work and with my PhD. This visiting research student position has given me a lot of tools. So I hope to carry on the work that I have started here. And also I really hope that the film project is going forward.
Your next episode, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the sequel of what happens with the farm. Let's see. Also, I just hope I get to live an interesting life, basically, to do meaningful work, to do meaningful projects, and
meet meaningful people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, nice. What a life, right?
I guess it's a lifestyle that doesn't fit everyone, but I just feel like it's such a privilege to be able to do this.
Nice. Very nice. And I think we had a very good and interesting dialogue.
It was a pleasure to talk to you, Shuang. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for sharing so much about your practical work and your research work. Let's look forward to your new episode 2 of your documentary film.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's today's podcast.